Hello everybody, Carl Keister here, ClearServe Financial Education. So just want to talk a little bit about this week. This is the week of April 12th, and it's going to be an interesting week because earnings are going to kick off. So we're going to see some neat comparisons from this first quarter this year versus the first quarter last year. Because remember last year, the first quarter was affected, but it was probably about March when the lockdown started occurring. So some of these numbers might be a little bit confusing because you had a couple weeks of the lockdown taking place. Next quarter is going to be unbelievable. The comps are going to be nothing you can even compare to really because of the first time in history of an overall complete shutdown of the economy. And now things have not only started back up, but they are just ripping higher. I saw today it was Uber that came out and said record numbers since the shutdowns happened. Their food delivery service have picked up as well. So Apple has been pretty much dead money. This is a stock that I've been waiting for it to wake up because it really has done nothing since Warren Buffett and Bill Gates showed at the end of the fourth quarter, or in the fourth quarter, I guess, that they started dumping shares of Apple. So I'll be interested to see if this starts to get some more attention because it finally has woken up. I'm looking at a 3-month chart, and Apple was, let's just see here, it was all the way up to 137 and got as low as 116 on March 8th. So it's kind of woken up a little bit there, and honestly this past week it's broken out. I was in it a little bit last week. I'm in it right now, and I think it's going to go to 138 because every time it's got to 138 it's kind of stopped. It's kind of been the brick wall for Apple, but that's still $5 away. So if you're a long-term investor, hang on to it. Earnings will come out here in a couple weeks, and I'm sure they'll do a great job. They normally do. But this has been a stock that hasn't done a whole lot. So if you're actually trading this stock, there's been opportunity last week, and I think there will be opportunity again today. The market's showing futures lower today. It looks like it's going to open up down 50 cents, but Apple was up 264 on Friday alone. And when the market was showing a little bit of softness on Thursday, Apple never went lower. So that was a good tell for me that there might be some people stepping in to buy that one. So that was an interesting play to look at. So I would love to see a lower open because we haven't had a lower open so long, and really when it opens lower lately, it's literally been 5 or 10 minutes, and they start buying it up. And on Friday, if you look at Friday, it's just from 11 o'clock on, it just kept on going. So this all goes back to economy is opening up. The Fed's going to keep rates low, going to be very accommodative. They're saying nothing about inflation, even though we all know there's inflation. Look at the gas pump, look at the grocery store. Inflation's out there, but these stocks just seem to go higher, and they don't seem to care right now because they keep saying, they keep seeing the Fed actually come out. Jerome Powell came on the weekend. He did a 60-minute interview that pretty much said they're less worried about inflation than the economy recovering, which I know there's still millions of people out of work in some of those industries, but I know down here in Florida, I'm seeing signs of people hiring in the restaurant business again. So that industry is definitely getting back on track. So I think that's gonna be, as the summer progresses, you're gonna see more and more of that, and hopefully travel can pick up. I know that my wife and we booked a trip for Greece actually in the fall. Crossing our fingers we can cancel 30 days prior, but we're crossing our fingers that we're allowed to go as long as we're vaccinated, which we both have a first dose now, so of the Pfizer. So that was interesting. And so we'll see. We'll cross our fingers that we can get out and start traveling again, and maybe even overseas more, which we're waiting to do. So this will be an interesting week, like I mentioned. Bank stocks will start reporting on Wednesday. As interest rates have been going up, which is what spooked the market, why the NASDAQ fell down 10% a week or so ago. The 10-year has kind of evened up. Let's just say it kind of cooled off. It's down at, that's up at 1.668, which if we look over the last month, that's not the highest, but it's definitely not the lowest. But all of a sudden, what caused the NASDAQ to collapse was the thought of higher interest rates, because that means it's going to cost these technology companies that hope their whole companies are built on growth. It costs them more money to go out and borrow money for this growth, or offer more bonds or stocks. It costs them more money. But all of a sudden now, since the Fed keeps coming out at every opportunity and saying, we're not worried about inflation, that's the last thing we're worried about right now, it just kind of concerns me a little bit that, but I don't think it's going to happen now. It is rare heading into an earnings season, it's rare that the market would roll over from here. So I think we've got clear sailing for another month or two. There's going to be opportunities that you're going to look at. And once again, for my long-term investors and retirement folks, you don't need to pay attention to us right now because Jerome Powell's got your back, and he's already said we're going to keep buying bonds. We're going to keep doing what we need to do to make sure this economy is accommodative, and don't need to worry about anything. So what are you going to do? Put your money in a CD for 1%? Probably not. So anyway, I do want to look at one more thing here. We'll look at a couple I find interesting. We're going to look at Square. Mentioned that thing seems to keep playing over and over here. The last 2 months, I'm going to pull up a 3-month chart. Square is one of these companies that just, people are buying this for a number of reasons. They're looking at them as a digital bank now. I mean, even JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon has mentioned that the fintechs are an actual threat to their banks because they don't have the same regulations and cost, but they're in a position where they can offer things that millennials and some younger folks are interested in. And this is a stock that it seems like it was up to 280 on February 19th, and then they spooked it and ran it down from 280 down to 200. So it dropped $80. And that was over 2 weeks. Rallied it back up to 250, pulled back again to 200. So twice now it's been close to 200. Today it sits at 260. So a little higher than the last one. So this is another one that could go. Today might be a slight pullback. There's looking like in pre-market it's down $1, but honestly, I think this week, this thing could tag. If the earnings come out this morning and if nothing major happens, no geopolitical stuff happens, and no major earnings upsets, this is probably going to hit 270 this week. So this is something I'm looking at. PayPal in particular, PayPal and Square, both are playing the same model, the same role. They're in basically the same business. They're kind of moving hand in hand. But this is an opportunity as well. If you want a short trade on something, look for this to continue this week. So I'm looking for Square, PayPal to move higher. Now, also I wanted to mention cryptocurrency, which I've done some videos in the past. You can look at some prior videos on cryptocurrency. I did one in December when the cryptocurrency was at 17,000, and today it's at 60,000. And it's getting acceptance now. And I've also watched this morning that Coinbase is getting ready to go IPO. So the IPO space, the crypto space is going to do really well, I believe, today and probably this week, because as this Coinbase, all the excitement behind Coinbase comes, it's going to push those stocks higher. I mean, I looked this morning and it was over $60,000 of Bitcoin as of this morning. So look for the stocks that follow that is Mara. So if you're a short-term person, you might want to look at that. MARA, and also Riot. Those two stocks kind of mimic what's going on, and Mara is up 5.5% pre-market just because Bitcoin was so high overnight over the weekend. So, but this is a stock too that's been just mimicking the Bitcoin excitement. Marathon Holdings, it's called, and it's just one of those stocks where Bitcoin's up, this is going to go up. So if you don't want to buy Bitcoin, you don't want to risk $60,000. Look at Mara, M-A-R-A. You can get the similar bang for the buck for a lot less money. And then also Riot, R-I-O-T. That is Riot Blockchain is also one. It's up 6%. So those two go hand in hand. Lately, Mara's been trading a little bit better as far as mimicking the Bitcoin. But again, if you're looking for something, you don't have $60,000 to risk on a Bitcoin. And yes, I know you can go onto PayPal now, and you can go in there and buy fractional shares of Bitcoin, but look, it's not a big move. It's not going to make you a ton of money overnight. Whereas with Riot or Mara, these are $50 stocks that for a couple $100 and it goes up 5%. And sometimes you can catch, if you do it with options, I mean, a $3 move for an option could make you a few $100. So anyway, just something to keep on your radar for this week. As I said earlier, earnings are coming out. So we're going to watch earnings. We're looking at a little bit down opening this morning on Monday, but these down openings don't last long. So I'm not going to pull the trigger on anything right away here first thing in the morning, but definitely keep an eye on it. And if we do get a little bit of a pullback today, might be an opportunity to buy, especially some of these stocks I've been talking about. PayPal, Square, I would love to see PayPal or Square come in $5 today, and that would be an opportunity to jump in and do something there. But anyway, so we'll see how the week goes. watch the S&P. Nothing happened big over the weekend, although I shouldn't say that. I saw an article last night that Iran's underground nuclear power plant was shut down, and they're saying it was Israel that pretty much was a cyber attack that shut down the nuclear power plant. Nothing catastrophic happened, but friction's always over there. So again, keep in mind, keep your trades small. The market's at all-time highs. Anything geopolitical could happen. The market could pull back quick and fast, even in the midst of earnings season. But without the geopolitical stuff, markets generally go up as we're leading into earnings season, and we're going to see some pretty good numbers, especially from companies that have been reporting bad numbers for 1 or 2 quarters. Some of these stocks are way out ahead of themselves, but we'll see. So until next time, we'll see you then.